Generally, by breathing more deeply, we are able to absorb higher levels of vital life force. We amplify and expand our pranic body. We can build our aura, this basic level of our energetic field of being a vibrant, radiant person. It's not just a physical thing, but it's the vital life force, the fundamental pranic life energy buzzing.
Action!
Welcome to the Spirit of Yoga. In this solo episode of our podcast, we will explore the topic of expansion. Expansion on 5 different levels. So, expansion at the level of the physical body could, for example, relate to our lifespan, living longer, expanding not only the duration that we live, but the healthy years of our life. That is known as health span. So we will explore the expansion of health span, the expansion also of our vital energies. Additionally, we will check how it is possible to expand ourselves on the emotional level, looking into exciting topics such as charisma. Then we also want to expand our mind and have more lucid states of clarity. And ultimately, the expansion of consciousness is the name of the game. So we will look into those 5 different levels of expansion together and at least briefly touch on the basic topics, make them relevant, meaningful, and applicable for your daily life. So, expansion at the level of the physical body, we expand our vitality, our health, our longevity. How can we live an expanded and extended life? There are at least 4 pillars which are crucial for our lifespan, and our healthy lifespan, as mentioned, is called the health span. So, one of the most essential ones is the physical movement, the exercise, moving the body in different ways. On the one hand, we're talking about cardiovascular health, the endurance training. Yes, that can be the strong stuff from the high intensity interval training, HIIT, which is the zone 5 cardio, full intensity for short periods, but also basic levels of zone 2 cardio, as it is known, where we are simply having long durations throughout the week, something like 3-4 hours per week, where we are, for example, walking at a fast pace, that we can still entertain a conversation, but have a little basic challenge. So this is the foundation of our cardiovascular activity, the zone 2 cardio, around 3 hours per week, and then some high intensity HIIT training, sprints, bursts in this zone 5 cardio. So that is one part of the physical health, the cardiovascular, but then also the strength and resistance training. That can be body weight related exercises, such as we do in hatha yoga and vinyasa practices, but can be also strength training with resistant bands, weight, etc. So, physical activity, one key to expand our lifespan. Second ingredient, the nutrition. Healthy nutrients. So these are beneficial forms of fats, healthy oils like the extra virgin olive oil, like virgin coconut oil and others. So healthy fats, avocado for example has a lot of these healthy fats. Then healthy forms of protein, healthy forms of carbs. That means not the refined and sugary white forms of carbs. So what we put into our body, basic staples of our food. There's so many different opinions on diet, which we are not going into now. But healthy diet, what we eat, the type of nutrition ingredients we put in. There we have general categories as whole foods, so unprocessed foods, and those ideally organic to reduce the chemical load, and having the different categories of nuts, seed, pulses, legumes, the lentils and bean stuff. And then we have fruits, vegetables, and other basic categories. And upon your diet preferences, animal products, yes or no. So, what we eat, but also how much we eat and when we eat. So, the quantity and the timing also matter a lot. Look into topics such as intermittent fasting to be able to have a sustained energy level coming from our food. So that is the second ingredient of our extended health and lifespan. In addition to the exercise movement, we have the nutrition diet factors. The third element to expand our lifespan is the sleep. Not only how long we sleep, but also how deep we sleep. Sleep is incredibly important for our recovery. All of the vital systems are going under maintenance mode in the nighttime, and it's super duper important to have vitality and this clarity throughout the daytime. We're just touching on the headlines here. In the future, we'll go deeper into separate episodes exploring those different topics in greater detail. So, remember, we're in the topic of expanding life in general, and we started with the physical body, the health and lifespan. And for this, we looked into exercise, cardiovascular, and strength resistance training. We looked into diet, what we eat, how much we eat, when we eat. Now we mentioned the sleep topic, how long we sleep, how deep we sleep. And now we come to the fourth area, which is in a way overlapping with other topics, which we explore later on, is the emotional and mental well being. We will explore those later, how important our balanced and harmonious state of being is. Because even on a physical level, the neurotransmitters, the biochemical balance in our organism is super duper important. And it is, the emotions are reflected in our limbic system in the brain and the hormonal system in the body. You must have heard of stress hormones such as cortisol and others. So we got to have a biochemically harmonious balance in our organism, because that is the foundation for our mental well-being. There's a lot of modern research coming out over the last decade or two where we are discovering in the field of modern science the intimate relation between our gut bacteria and our psychological well-being. It is by now a scientifically proven fact that an imbalance in our biomicrobe in the gut, the bacteria living in our intestine, that is directly influencing our psychological well-being and sanity. Depression, for example, has been directly linked to the harmonious balance in our gut. So that is established, yes, via our food also, prebiotics, probiotics, and even postbiotics. So root vegetables and others are very helpful to harmonize with their resistant starch, feeding the beneficial bacteria in our gut. So all this helps to expand our health span and lifespan at the level of the physical body. Now we move to the second area of expanding ourselves, the topic of the vital energies, which in the context of yoga comes under the headline of prana. Prana is the vital life force, which in the Far East traditional Chinese medicine comes under the headline of chi, which is there flowing through the meridians, these energy lines, known in yoga as nadis. And those are meeting in those central hubs, these wheels of energies, which in yoga we call the chakras. So, how can we expand our vital energy? How can we build our prana? So, prana is the vital life force which is strongly present in air. It actually comes from the sun. The sun is the main life-giving force in our solar system. So the vital life energy, the yogis believe, comes from the sun, and it is charging the air, the plants, the water. So one of the most accessible forms of prana is actually in the air. And in yoga, not surprisingly, we cultivate and develop and expand our prana with practices known as pranayama. Pranayama is bringing a rhythm to the vital life force of prana, and there is a great variety of intricate breathing exercises where we harmonize and balance the prana. For example, the renowned box breath, where we have an equal proportion duration of inhale, holding the breath after inhale, exhale, holding the breath after exhalation. So inhale, hold, exhale, hold, all in the same duration. 3 seconds in, 3 seconds hold, 3 seconds out, 3 seconds hold again after exhalation. So that is one simple famous form of pranayama, which is actually the samavriti pranayama, the evening out of the worlds of the mind. It harmonizes and gives us grounding. Other famous pranayamas are the 2-to-1 breathing, meaning the exhale is double as long as the inhale. This helps us to relax. When there's over intensity, as I just had it in the frenzy of my talking, of trying to explain you so many different things in one short explanation, then it just helps to sometimes take a deep breath and a long exhale out. And that long exhalation helps us on the physical level to slow down the heartbeat, to lower the blood pressure, but also to harmonize the energetic flow of prana. Generally, by breathing more deeply, we are able to absorb higher levels of vital life force. We amplify and expand our pranic body. We can build our aura, this basic level of our energetic field, of being a vibrant, radiant person. It's not just a physical thing, but it's the vital life force, the fundamental pranic life energy buzzing from, for example, I see it sometimes here on our tropical island in Bali, the surfers, these wave riders who are spending so many hours per day in the ocean, in the forces of nature, in the sun, and they're just like buzzing, vibrant beings. And then they top it up with some green juice, green smoothies, and a healthy lifestyle. And they are just radiant examples of being charged by this pranic life force, which in yoga we cultivate with pranayama. So that the second area where we can expand and extend our well-being. The third layer of expansion, in a yogic context, we can build our emotions and expand, radiate them. So on the first level, it helps to harmonize and balance the emotions and to purify our feelings. And in this process, we eliminate negative emotions, or maybe not eliminate, better said, we reduce them to a minimum, and we harmonize and pacify them. We learn how to deal with them. We learn how to channel them in the sense of converting them. It's like a transformation, which in yoga we call transmutation, also known as sublimation. We take a negative energy, which a negative emotion, which has an energetic charge, and we change that negative emotion into a positive, beneficial emotional charge. Because we don't want to amplify and expand our anger and hatred. So choose carefully what you want to expand at the emotional level. So first we need to harmonize and purify. This has already been cultivated thousands of years ago. For example, the Buddha speaks in the context of the Vama Marga, of the pure path of purification, about purifying also the emotional aspects. So purify the emotions and then amplify the beneficial emotions and expand and extend in those. Yes, and that can be happiness, not just sensory satisfaction in the sense of pleasure expansion. That's nice and thrilling, sure, why not? But more important to go deeper and expand our joy, our fulfillment, our sense of heartfelt connection. So expanding love, radiating loving kindness, and buzzing with compassion, and receiving with an open heart the vulnerable emotions of other beings. So that on a basic level, it could be going into more advanced forms of expanding our emotions, the charismatic charge of being charming, of being compelling, of being so radiant that our emotional charge would be almost perceived as magnetic. So, expanding our emotions, that is the third layer of expansion. And we now come to the fourth layer, expanding our mind. So, on a basic level, sure, also as mentioned with the emotions, we want to purify our mind. And there it's a lot about also subconscious tendencies, certain karmic predispositions and conditioning, that we might have our mind in an unharmonious way set on seeking power, controlling others, and having, in a way, impure thoughts. So purifying the mind always goes together of bringing darkness, bringing out of the darkness into light, the subconscious purification, bringing the light of conscious awareness into the dark aspects of our subconscious being, and in a way doing the shadow work and purifying our subconscious mind, again, that we don't amplify those negative tendencies in our mind, that our thinking becomes light, clear, clean, pure. And then we amplify those well aligned thoughts, and we can sharpen our mind and cut through like a laser beam with single pointed attention, and in this way expand our mind and have clear visions, have a genius mind which expands and opens new doors of human seeking, of clarity, of scientific discovery, of cutting through the shallow to-do list, impulsive, emotionally overcharged mind, and have more these refined genius thoughts. So expanding our mind, having anticipation, visions of the future, and all the rest of the clarity which comes from that. After the fourth level of expanding our mind, last but not least, we come to the fifth level, expanding our consciousness. Altered states of consciousness are frequently perceived as an expansion, as a radiating openness, which is perceived frequently as a disappearing of the individual bubble of my body mind being locked and limited into this small meat package here, but going beyond the limitations of this bodily, individualized, isolated existence and expanding in a spheric way, having a perception of universal consciousness. So, not just I'm a conscious human being in my individual bubble, but altered states of universal consciousness where we go beyond the individual limitations and are having a direct perception of the universal, radiant, blissful state of pure existence. So, that in a nutshell, 5 different levels and areas in which we can expand the physical, expanding and extending our lifespan and even our health span, not only getting old, but staying healthy while we are old in our expanded, extended lifespan. Then it helps actually to achieve those states of longevity by also building our pranic life force, the vital energy that we talked about with the pranayama yogic breathing techniques, then expanding our harmonized, purified emotions, then expanding our mind, sharpness, clarity of this laser beam cutting through, And fifth, last but not least, expanded states of universal consciousness. So that was our exploration of expanding our yogic being on all levels. I trust that you got excited and even so curious that you will investigate one of those 5 levels very soon, a lot deeper. And step by step, together, we'll explore other more deeper layers and application levels of this expansion of all levels of our being. If you have any experience and have the possibility to share that with us here in the comments, please make use of that shared community space where we can learn from each other. If you want to go deeper in this journey, I encourage you to sign up for our yogic calendar, in which we are sharing daily ingredients of practices, inspiration, uplifting talks. So please find the link in the description or in the show notes, and let's be in touch to explore further, more profound, expanded levels of our shared yogic journey. Looking forward to the next steps of this expanding and heartfelt journey. This was Wisdom in Motion. Keep shining in the spirit of yoga. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you very soon.